Hi there, friends. Thanks so much for joining us for another edutaining journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Today, Western Roundup returns, looking at the success of the Magotty High School sports team. We also get health-wise about the triple virus threat of COVID-19, dengue and the flu. Sit back and relax. Culinary training and ideas for the children this summer are among the other interesting features to come, right after this important message.
I am Delroy Chuck, Minister of Justice, and with the support of the European Union, we intend to build a first-class justice system. The contribution of the European Union to the Jamaica justice system is enormous. We believe that this partnership with the European Union has been beneficial to Jamaica, and we hope that further assessment will demonstrate that the partnership between the European Union and Jamaica is one that has not only been game-changing, but will continue in the years ahead. The most significant achievement, in my opinion, was the Court of Appeal. Before the Court of Appeal was rebuilt, only 7 judges could have been appointed. Now we can appoint 12 judges, plus the president of the court, and this will ensure that at that level in the Court of Appeal, cases will move expeditiously. It will set the tone for how we engage in backlog reduction.
In our Western Roundup segment this week, team member Nikita Sterling will be linking up with the Magotty High School track and field team in St. Elizabeth. She's looking at their sports program, which is producing favorable results. Come, let's follow her to the track right now.
Inadequate training facilities, COVID-19 and limited athletes were just a few of the challenges faced by the Magotty High School track and field team as they made preparations for Champs 2021. But they were not to be deterred. Today on Western Roundup, we head to St. Elizabeth, where we sit with some of the team members from the institution after breaking their 24-year drought to place 10th in the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships. Stick around.
Magotty is on an upward trajectory. We are working with our students despite the pandemic to achieve excellence. Our students have been proving themselves in various fields, especially in academics, but also in sport and other co-curricular activities.
There's a popular saying that goes, when the time is right, things will fall into place. This is something the students and staff at the Magotty High School in St. Elizabeth are affirming. The last time the school placed in the top 10 of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship was back in 1997. 24 years later, though recognizing there is still a long way to go, they are basking in their recent success, having placed 10th overall in the boys' competition.
We have always been involved in champs, but we have not necessarily been at this level. But though we have not been at this level, I have noticed that we have had national representatives. We are having a student that is currently on the way to Tokyo for the Olympics. We had 2 semi-finalists at the national trials. There are 2 students now that are doing very well on the United States track and field circuit. So though we were never a major force in champs, we had individual students pushing the button and doing well.
So what can be credited with this change in fortune for the Magotty High School family?
The game changer for the institution as it relates to track and field have been 2 major persons and their push for the program. Mr. Jan Leslie, as the manager of the program, he has a passion for track and field and he has devoted his life and energy into ensuring that this track program is up. And we have, I think, arguably one of the best high school coaches in the island. And though we are not able to compensate him at the level commensurate to other schools, he has decided that we are going to work together to craft a program, a 5-year program, and we're going to use it as a development tool. So though we have not been a major force in Champs, it has been work that has been done, the seeds have been sown, and we are now starting to see some semblance of the results, because we are still not where we know we are going to be some years from now.
Though humbled by the vote of confidence being showered on the coaching staff and the students, the head coach at the institution, Tyrone Miller, gives thanks for the additional time the team received as a result of the pandemic.
We have to give thanks for the whole pandemic this season, because it actually give us more time to prepare the length, because most of my athletes actually came in late. So the length kind of help out us a lot.
The student athletes, on the other hand, are beaming with pride, having done their best despite the challenges over the past year.
We don't have a good field, but coach used the best of it, sir. And according to we, say push ourselves, sir, and we see. But at first, this is the up and down, so we didn't have confidence, sir. But you see, after West Champs, we dominate, sir. Yeah, little bit of confidence build, sir. And then Champs, we dominate.
The competition I get in the 1500 meter this year, I'll try to see if I can claim one more medal next year. It helped me with the highlights, and maybe in a few years it can help me get a scholarship at the college.
My first year, I think I did pretty well. I'm proud.
So, as preparations get on the way for the next track and field season, we believe it is safe to look out for greater things from the Magati High School team.
There's more to come. The main objective is to try and remain in the top 10 and try and create as much from the lower class, because that's one of my main strong points.
Magati High School placed 10th in the boys competition, having received 21 points, and 26th in the girl competition, having gained 5 points in the 2021 Asa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championship.
Thanks for joining us for Western Roundup, where we take you from the corners of St. Elizabeth to the hilly terrains of St. Anne. We may be in your neck of the woods next time, so look out. Remember to send your feedback to jismobe@jis.gov.jm. Until next time, take care.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk, and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
In our HealthWise segment today, we're taking stock of the risk posed by dengue, COVID, and the flu, the triple virus threat.
Controlling the triple threat of COVID-19, influenza, and dengue is a major agenda item for the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This mission requires every one of us to always be vigilant and take preventative measures against the spread of these infectious diseases.
Knowledge is power, and our awareness of this triple threat is the first step to victory. The next step is to do what we know needs to be done and can be done to protect ourselves and the people we care about. COVID is still out there, requiring continued vigilance in our national response to the disease, including the strict adherence to infection prevention and control measures. Masking up, we must add the masks, washing the hands, keeping your physical distancing from others, and sticking to quarantine or isolation as is required.
The Health Ministry has maintained a robust testing protocol in the COVID response to track and trace the virus and slow its spread. That includes government's approval for some private entities to carry out the gold standard polymerase chain reaction PCR test for COVID-19, as well as the antigen test, which has a quicker turnaround time for results.
Combined, private sector entities are now able, for a cost or for a fee, to offer the PCR test for COVID with the sanctioning of the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And so you can go to a microlabs, and they're all over the country. You can get swabbed, samples collected, sent into Carigen, and Carigen will do the test, turn it around, and send back the results. In addition to that, the ministry has also approved Technology Solutions Limited to do environmental testing. And what this means is that this entity, Technology Solutions Limited, is able to go into your company or your home or wherever else in a public space, and they can test surfaces to determine if the virus exists on those surfaces.
Infection prevention measures for the flu caused by the influenza virus is the same as for COVID-19. They include covering the mouth and nose and coughing and sneezing in a piece of tissue, which is then properly disposed of immediately. Both COVID and the flu are highly infectious diseases requiring persons with symptoms to stay at home and avoid contact with others in order to prevent spread. Both have similar symptoms, which makes it difficult to tell which illness is present. Common symptoms of the two infections include coughing, runny or stuffy nose, and shortness of breath.
And so it's very important that as citizens, if you have any of these symptoms, you get checked out by a doctor. And it's also important that you do not panic, but at least get the diagnosis to determine which of the two or indeed the three you may have. Because depending on what you have, your treatment would vary.
The flu season begins in November of each year and extends to March. However, it can be longer, starting earlier in October and lasting until May. The government has made 23,000 doses of the flu vaccine available free of cost for the most vulnerable in the population. Persons can get the vaccine at public healthcare facilities across the island.
The priority for this vaccine would be healthcare workers initially, pregnant women, children over 6 months with chronic illnesses, non-health frontline workers such as the police officers, army, correctional services, customs, and immigration officers, and transport operators. Institutionalized persons, those in the infirmaries, nursing homes, and the elderly, 65 years and older, and those with chronic illnesses. And indeed, I would say parliamentarians too. Persons or public officials, elected officials who are on the ground in the communities, interfacing with a wide cross-section of the population. They would represent a risk. I would certainly want to encourage those, particularly of a particular age cohort, to seek out, and you can get it done privately, the vaccine, because it certainly will assist in protecting you against the flu.
Shorten the duration of any flu-like illness that you may get. The severity will certainly be lessened. The hospitalization will be decreased. What has been shown when we look at what occurred in the Southern Hemisphere for their winter season, it was shown that persons who received the flu vaccine actually, if they got COVID, their impact of the illness was much less, and they also had less deaths in persons who had received the vaccine.
Controlling the population of the Aedes aegypti mosquito, which transmits the dengue virus, is the most potent action to protect against dengue fever, the third tier in this triple virus threat. The mosquitoes are domesticated and usually live in and around areas where people are located. They breed in containers holding water.
We're talking about the vase that you keep on the whatnot, or the bucket that you might keep in the bathroom to store water because you don't have running water to flush the toilet, or the leaking pipe under the sink that you put a pan to catch because you didn't get a chance to fix the pipe, all of those things become breeding sites for mosquitoes and ultimately poses a risk to you.
The national response to this threat has brought the Aedes aegypti indices to a low level, following government's single largest investment of nearly $300 million in the island's vector management infrastructure.
We had in place over 1,244 vector control workers. 222 are permanent, so those are the ones on staff, but we engaged just over another 1,022. Those are still in place, and they have been out in the field doing the work, bringing the messaging, giving out the brochures. We've had 60 new vehicles that have been assigned to the vector control program. 36 of the 60 had vehicle-mounted foggers. We have 76 handheld fogging machines with another 35 in stock.
Citizens, meanwhile, are told to constantly monitor their environment for mosquito breeding sites and take action to prevent breeding.
Tightly cover our water drums, so secure our water storage tanks. The searching the drums and mosquito breeding sites, including our, all the things that I mentioned earlier. Once you see that little wiggly thing in the water, you know that mosquitoes breeding in it.
So, as we continue to take responsibility for our own health and the well-being of all around us, let's get informed and take action to stay safe.
Follow the protocols. What we do not want is to be overwhelmed as a public health response, where people don't have access to hospital beds, doctors, nurses, if they need it because of a dengue, a flu outbreak, or indeed COVID. And I think we can do that.
The first technique that will be explained today is the technique of boiling. What we advise is for you to obtain clean water, water that you can see through. Then you would place it into a pot, you'd cover the pot and allow for it to boil. Allow for rolling boil for about 5 minutes. Then it would look something like this. Then after you would have achieved the 5 minutes of rolling boil, then you'd allow for it to cool. Then you would place it inside of another container.
Use an airtight container to store your water. If the water is not used within a few weeks, be sure to carry out additional treatment of the water. That may include boiling the water once more.
It is important that the water you get for domestic use is treated properly to ensure it is safe. The National Water Commission manages that process for the water that runs through your pipes. Let's find out about the NWC's elaborate treatment system right now.
The human body cannot function without water. While you may live for up to 3 weeks without food, you cannot go more than a week without water. From breaking down the food we eat so the body can use it, to helping us heal when we get sick, water is needed for almost every process that takes place in the body. And although 70% of the Earth's surface is covered with water, drinking it directly from seas, rivers, wells or aqueducts may make you sick. Untreated water contains bacteria and other germs, as well as chemicals that may be dangerous to the body. So in order to get the water from here to here safely, it has to be treated. Water treatment processes differ depending on the source. If the water is coming from a river, for example here at the Negro River in St. Thomas, it usually goes through an extensive treatment process before reaching the pipe.
Here is where we do the first type of treatment in the form of sedimentation and screening. Behind me you can see where we screen the bigger stuff like the sticks, the stones and debris. Then we come down to the sediment where we separate the sand from the stones. And then this water will leave from St. Thomas and pipe into Kingston via pipeline into the Mona Reservoir.
The Mona Reservoir is the island's largest raw water storage facility and provides the liquid to over 30% of people living in Kingston and St. Andrew. If this is where you get your water, here is where the next step in the treatment process occurs.
Here in the reservoir, we allow for maximum levels of mixing, maximum levels of aeration, as can be done here at the facility. We also, at the reservoir, you allow for settling out of the silt and the suspended particles, dirt particles, that would otherwise be in the raw water. We then take the water from the reservoir and take it to the Mona treatment plant.
At the treatment plant, chemicals are added to further purify the water. Chlorine is first added to kill bacteria.
You have stages that include flocculation, where we actually add chemicals to the water that allow those microscopic dirt particles that are still in the water to be brought together in what we call flocks, and then we are able to skim it off and remove it from the water.
The water is then passed through filters which contain layers of sand, gravel, charcoal or synthetic materials that remove remaining small particles. The final stage is disinfection. Here, chlorine is added to kill any other bacteria or germ.
Ensuring that we have what we refer to as chlorine residual that goes with the water, so that as the water travels along the pipeline to our customers, should it come in contact with any germs along the way, there is enough chlorine residual in that water to destroy those germs and still be delivered to the customer in good quality.
The water is tested all throughout the treatment process to ensure that what you get in your pipe meets World Health Organization standards.
For several years running, the National Water Commission has won the best tasting water in the Caribbean. We have also been acknowledged by the various arms of the United Nations at different points in time as having one of the best quality water in the hemisphere.
That is definitely something we can drink to.
It is a fact that we all must eat to live. This craving for a sumptuous meal, plus the fact that not everyone is proficient in the kitchen, means a career in the culinary field can be quite rewarding for those up to the challenge. To get training and certification, we suggest enrolling at the Heart NSTA Trust.
Well, I consider myself as a typical youth.
Friends, sports.
Golfing, well, not so typical, but I enjoy the sport.
Average social life and vision for the future.
I want to go straight down in depth of the culinary, which is, I'm going to do level 4, which is the executive chef level. So I'll be going straight up to the top. I'm Chef Garfield Jr. from Heart Trust NTA, Boys Town to be exact. After high school, I met a close friend, which of my sister, Alex White. I don't know that Alex the Great. He started bringing me on events because I told him that I'm interested in food, and he was at a higher level, way higher level. So while traveling with him around places, I learned a lot. He was a great mentor. Today I'll be cooking octopus wrapped in spring roll. So we're starting with the onions. We'll put this in the bowl. So here we have the octopus. Freeze a day before. It's kind of tender because I bought it tender. So we're just going to blanch it in the water. Going to do this 4 times.
The Heart Trust NTA was established in 1982 to satisfy the demand for solutions to the persistent problem of underdevelopment in the country. Fast forward to 2017, where the institution has maintained that mandate and has been shaping the lives of many youth through technical and vocational training.
Garfield came here, he joined the food prep level 3, which is a chef de partie, actually being prepared as a supervisor. I walked in the lab one day and here was this young man at work. What I saw him was doing, they usually are not that exposed already. You know, I saw this young man creating this, and I said, who are you? You're not a level 3. And he said, yes, I'm a level 3. Having Garfield here at Boys Town was a plus. We have had many before him, but Garfield has come and he has put his mark.
Boys Town is more into the practical, Heart is more into practical, and it has given me a drive, open opportunity because
he was selected to represent Jamaica in the first International TVET Youth Forum during WorldSkills Abu Dhabi 2017 on October 14 and 15. This event was the first of its kind and a unique opportunity for young professionals to shape the future of skills.
And that is an opportunity based from Taste of Jamaica.
Organized annually by the Culinary Federation of Jamaica, CFJ. It features cook-offs in more than 18 categories. Taste of Jamaica is geared towards promoting and showcasing the country's most talented through a mix of competition. Garfield entered in the category CPJ Beef Competition, where he walked away with silver in the 2016 staging of the event.
It was really a big move because I was competing against the sous chef of Sandals, and a sous chef of Sandals for a level 3 person and you're probably level 5 or 4. So it was a big move.
You rarely find young people with the passion and also the drive to endure and to keep on going. I think his advantage is that he smiles at obstacles. He's always moving on, pressing forward, and you know, just getting the job done.
For youths now, if you have a good opportunity, take it, but think about it. Definitely think about it. Secondly, if you want to pursue food and nutrition, definitely come to either Boys Town Heart Trust NTA or Runaway Bay Heart.
Now let us see him finish up the octopus spring roll.
Get that caramelized. This is Chinese favorite wrap, made of flour, rolled really thin. Gonna have some cheese in there. One strips like this. This is okay. So we're going to layer them like this. Get this in here. Over. There you go. Inside. Second.
To get more information on this program and others offered by Heart Trust NTA, you can visit their website at heart-nta.org.
Okay, and there you have it. Octopus spring roll with salsa and olive oil.
This is where we end another wonderful journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine. We value your company, so be sure to join us again tomorrow for another show. Until then, continue to watch these and other programs by logging onto our website, gis.gov.jm, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson, reminding you to follow the COVID-19 protocols and do stay safe.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.